Welcome, viewers and listeners, to another episode of the recap for the African Mobile Community Liga. Just like yesterday, it was week 1, and now we are in week 5. We're recapping week 5, and the final lap for the Premier Division is next week. So let's go ahead, and just get the show on the road. Once again, this is the tip weekly recap for the AMCL, and that is for the Call of Duty mobile community, which is brought to you by one and only Lagos Esports Forum and sponsored by TIP, as you already know, and is supported by Domino's Pizza Nigeria and Cold Stone. Let me make sure I don't make that mistake of calling it the WWF before Shayo corrects me. So it is the Cold Stone Creamery. And once again, we have the one and only Shayo Olabi joining us. Shayo, how are you today?
Doing great. Always a pleasure. Amazing week it's been. It's about to get hotter. And I think Zero Remorse already got us in the mood with their tweets earlier. Was it yesterday? That was yesterday, right?
It was yesterday, yes.
So yes, they said it is the end game. And for them to be in the driver's seat, the pressure is on for them not to drop the ball. This is the worst time to drop the ball.
The ball.
Definitely, it's been an interesting 5 weeks. This is the 6th week already. We're all poised for action, talking about the Premier Division going into the final week and the Championship Division going into the penultimate week. It's been an amazing time. Thanks to our sponsors, TIP, of course, our supporters, Domino's Pizza, and Cold Stone. It's been a mouth-watering 5 weeks, and we definitely will be wrapping up with a bang later this week.
All right, thank you for that, Shayo. Just to add to what you've said, like you said, it is the end game week now, and I guess we can, we'll get to cryptic gaming. This is not the week to pick 6 and drop 1 at this point. But
this is the 100% week for them if they want to finish strong.
Exactly. So you guys, once again, the AMCL recap is brought to you by TipNG, where we do it for the love of the game, and it allows content creators, streamers, esports, anyone creating content. It might not, you don't necessarily need to stream. You can just create your clip and put it up, and you can tie your tip link to it. It saves you the stress of having to give your phone number or email or account number to anyone, which are personal information. So with the link, family, friends, well wishers can just click on it and just, like I always say, support your ministry. Yeah, exactly. So it's supporting the ministry. So let's jump straight into it. We can see also our supporters, zero contact delivery from Domino's.
That should be on my table. If I can't see it here, what's happening?
Oh, well, we'll send the bill to Lagos Esports Forum.
I should be,
We should be taking some Cold Stone Creamery. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We'll send the bill to Lagos Esports Forum for them to handle for us. So let's jump straight into it. And we're starting once again with the Championship Division. Shayo, as you can see, what is the surprise, the disappointment for you from match day 13?
Definitely a terrible start for elite gamers. Rather disappointing encounter there against Regiment. I would have thought they could win that particular encounter, but that did not happen. But it is what it is. They missed out on getting to win in that one, which of course put there. We'll get to see the table later. It did not do much good for them on the standings. Props to them for actually getting the map, which made it not too much of a bad loss, but a loss is always a loss because 3 points is way better than 1 point. But all the same, it was a terrible one. And it was good to see also Mina finally pick a map. Still searching for that elusive win, but picking a map was a good development. I haven't seen them lose all games so far this season. So yes, that's how the week started. The regular guys. Okay, yes, we definitely must talk about K9 and Menace. That situation was casted by Josh, and he put him in a very precarious situation when when he didn't know what decision it was going to be. So the guys had to settle for a share of the points. I guess that's one each or two each. We'll get to see
One
that on
point
the day.
each. Yeah, it was
But that,
1 point each.
it was an unprecedented situation. So that goes into the record books for the AMCL. It's never happened before when you go into a tie break and it's still a tie. They are tied together. That's all I can say. Interesting development.
Yeah, I believe looking at the fixtures also, there is no surprise aside that K9 and Menace because I have never seen something like that. Every other scoreline was more or less, expected.
Seriously, you
So,
thought Elite Gamers would lose to Regiment?
except I'm missing it. Oh no, that was a surprise.
I
I
didn't
did
see
have.
that coming. I didn't see
Yeah,
that coming.
I do apologize. I was expecting a 2-1 win for
Yeah,
Elite, so that was a surprise. That was a
yeah.
Yeah,
huge, huge surprise.
sorry to cut in, but Wakandans versus Knights, that was another surprise as
Also,
well.
yeah, true,
I
true.
was
No, I
expecting
Especially as they
think
didn't
Wakanda
pick
to
a map.
take that one.
no, I think I've lost interest in Wakandas now. Nothing will surprise me.
Is it because they've been inconsistent so far in the league?
Yes,
Exactly.
that's
So
more
not
like it.
yeah, something about them not now. At the beginning of the season, I would have been surprised, but now I'm not. I'm like, if they win it,
It's
fine.
more
If they
like,
don't, I'm not
yeah,
surprised. So
it's
I'm
true.
not. I think Elite Gamers and Redmond was the surprise of that match day fixture. And let's jump to match day 14. Josh, for you, what was the surprise?
Let's see here. I think my surprise was definitely what's it called? Menace came in coming out on top against Regiments.
Regiment, yeah,
I mean, Regiments are another team that have been inconsistent in the league. Matches you expect them to get max 3 points, they either lose or they settle for 1 point. But I was
mm,
expecting them to, you understand, to win this matchup against Menace because it was very important. Both teams are neck and neck on the table, you understand. So for them, it was a tiebreaker of sorts. Well, Menace were the better team. I believe Menace came back after losing hard points, a hard fought
yeah.
game there. Menace came back after losing hard points and they walloped Regiments 6-1 in the search and destroy. I don't think anyone saw that coming at all. Nobody saw that 6-1 defeat in search and destroy coming, and then they won domination as well.
Interesting. Shayo, briefly, any surprise for you?
No, same for me. And like I always say, from the mindset of an analyst, you come in, you beat Elite, one of the top teams in your division, the match day before. We expect you will build on that in the next game, especially if you're coming up against a team we feel are not as strong as you are or at par with you. But Regiments didn't do that, and that of course wasn't a good one. So, but kudos to Menace. It goes to show their resilience. Let's not forget their match with K9 on match day 13. It shows their resilience. They took it into match day 14, and that's what saw them win this one with a comeback. A really, really good start to the week for them also.
Okay, good. And let's move to Face of Friday, which was the last match of fixtures for the week. Shout out to you. Any surprise?
Uh, um, maybe since we've decided and we've concluded that Wakandas can't surprise us anymore, maybe we'll just stick to Regiment losing yet again. But it's not surprising who they lost to. The only point I'm making is the fact that you started the week on a high. We expected you would have built on it, but that did not happen with them. My revenge also, I think, are in the same WhatsApp group with Wakandas. Lots of inconsistent runs. Saw them lose yet again to Menace, who I think probably apart from K9 and Area 57 had the most fantastic week so far in the championship division. So yes, Menace, good one, but Regiments, the surprise, really starting well, but ending the week in terrible fashion.
So same for me. Once again, my revenge inconsistency. I was expecting them at least, even if they're going to lose this fixture, pick up a map at least.
Yeah, true.
And they lost. They just lost 2-0. It's just very, very surprising at this point. And like you said, they're in the same WhatsApp group with Wakandans at this point as to their results don't surprise me. If they win, I'm happy for them. If they lose, I'm like, okay, fine. That's just how they roll. Very, very. Those are two teams that I believe should be pressuring the top,
True.
but just
True.
very, 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 very inconsistent.
Yeah.
Okay, so with that said, we do have the table of the week.
Mm.
Josh, I think there is no surprise for relegation battle. For the top three, K9 seems to be holding tight and kicking Area 57 out of it at this point. How do you see it ending with the next? I believe for Champions League, they still have 2 weeks. How do you see it panning out?
As it stands, I mean, there's just a 3 point gap between Comet Gaming and Elite Gamers. So it's safe to say the league is Comet Gaming's to lose. You understand? It is theirs to lose. Because I can't really remember their run of fixtures, but I don't think they have any tough matches on their
Tough
schedule.
encounter
So
coming.
it looks to be smooth sailing for them. But second to fourth is still undecided. I mean, anything can happen there. Anything can happen there. But regardless, elite gamers they still have an outside chance. I mean, if Comet Gaming were to miraculously sleep up, I have faith. I have faith, but I doubt that. If they were to sleep up, then elite gamers have an outside chance. But other than that, I don't think there's any major changes happening. And then you have menace, Wakandans, and regiments. I still sense a change in positions coming there because the previous week, regiments and Wakandans were topping menace, if I'm not mistaken. But
Mm-hmm.
now, after
Yeah.
week 5, menace have moved up into fifth position. And if I believe somebody predicted it, I'm not certain if it was Big Dre or it was Throne. One of them predicted that menace would bring out some good performances this week. They said that during last week's recap. And true to that person's word, Menace came and they walked the walk. So yeah, that's
Mm.
basically it.
Okay, before I jump to Shayo, I can see Dre saying Corey, Bahana, and Kelu doing the carry for Menace.
Mm. Commendable.
Shayo, yeah, very,
Very
very commendable. Shayo, to
yeah.
you, do you think the bottom half of the table is set? Do you think there'll be any changes, or you think it's gonna pan out like this? I know the elephant in the room now is between Knights and Void, in my opinion, as to who joins
Oh,
relegation at this
who
point.
goes down?
Do you think
Yeah.
revenge is safe?
To a certain extent, six points. I think they are, but then it's 3 games. So if they if they bundle all three, then they might find themselves in that red zone, and that would be rather disappointing. But with 6 points off the drop zone, I think they're safe. So Knights are the ones who really need to watch their backs, cause a full win and a map definitely gets Void on the same level with
Mm-hmm.
them. So I think Knights are the one who really need to watch their back. Regiments are safe for the season. Same for Area 57, Menace, Wakandas, who are all chasing to get into the top 3 and, of course, get a share of the money. Let's not forget, this is the time to cash out also. So, more than anything, that's what the chase is about for the guys who can still get, even if it's the 3rd position. So, K9 need to watch their back for Area 57 and probably Menace. And for the drop zone, Knights just need to watch their back because Void Gaming may just pull an upset and drag them into that zone.
That's wonderful. Josh, looking at Wakandans, is there any hope for third place?
Nah,
Mm,
nah.
Yeah, that is impossible. It's mathematically impossible. I doubt that. I doubt that.
7 points
Unless
adrift, 9 points
nah,
at
it's not
stake.
the matter of
Nah.
unless it's impossible. I don't see Comets,
K9.
Elite Gamers, K9, and Area 57 dropping points recklessly at this point. I mean, we're in the final stretch, final two
Yeah,
weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah.
yes.
now is when everybody is sitting up, playing the games of their lives. So no offense or whatever, but nah, I just don't see that miracle happening for Wakandas this time. Maybe season 2 or something.
Okay, so there are a few comments here, and they were asking, I believe Shaya will be in the best position to answer, what happens when you relegate? And Josh
How
can
can it be
add
me?
to
It's
that.
Josh that will answer.
Josh, okay,
It's
my
just
mistake.
that
Josh
All
would
right,
be
basically, are we talking about in general or just in
for
the championship
championship.
division?
for
Just
the
Championship.
championship division.
Championship.
all right, in the championship division, if you get relegated, you drop out of the standings, so you won't get to participate in season 2. There's like a waiting line, so you only be able to come back into the championship division in season 3 of the AMCL. That way, we can give new teams a chance to participate and either get promoted or get relegated as well. So if you get relegated in season 1, bye bye to AMCL till season 3. That's just it.
And that means you need to
Wow.
aim to gather points to remain relevant to get back in. So you don't just
Exactly.
stop playing and go and play. You keep playing to garner points that will get you back into the AMCL. I guess I'm right, Josh.
Yeah. So J Dog said there is nothing lucky about K9. Better put respect on their name. So they are saying K9 earned their third place, and they are not just picking up a series of draws or lucky wins. They earned it. Andre the
I think
Wolf.
K9 have been worthy ambassadors of Ghana. I think they represent in the AMCL. The performance has been impressive, and I think the one for the future. I want to see them play in the Premier Division. If that doesn't sound too sentimental, and that's because I think they have some elements in them that can make them rival the big boys when they get into the Premier Division.
Okay. Andre the Wolf
Okay.
said Void Gaming might escape relegation. And Swiss
Yeah.
Cheeseballs, yeah, Swiss Cheeseballs said, oh, I think
Okay.
he
K9
said,
is Kenya.
K9 is Kenya.
K9 is Kenya. Sorry, Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
Era 57. That's Ghana.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So
Kenya.
Swiss Ball said K9 is going to take second from Elite Gamers. Okay, I believe time will tell, and we will see that. Let's keep the ball rolling and let's look at the team of the week. So, Josh, can you briefly take us through the team of the week?
All right, yeah, I'm back. And guys, if you remember, I believe the last match on match day 15, I believe that was where we saw Waster. Waster almost dropped a 40 bomb. Give me a second real quick. Let me check who they played against in match day 15. I believe they played against Wakandans. Yes, indeed. And Waster, man, Waster was all over the kill feed. I believe he dropped a 30 bomb in respawns, I think. Yeah, I believe so. And Kai Rouge, I mean, this man isn't new to the team of the week. By now, I feel like, I think I've said this before. I said it last week, and I'm still going to say it again. It's almost like Kai Rouge has a spot reserved for him in team of the week. You understand? At this stage. Then for Pelu was immense this week. He was really immense, as well as Banana there. Both of them were really immense for their team, especially against regiments in the response as well as in S and D. And then there's somebody that didn't make the team of the week, but he has to get a shout out as well. That will be Hard from Menace Gaming. I know he's in the chats. Hard was really, really influential for them in the S and D. Then we have Low from Area 57. I didn't really follow their games this week, but for him to be in the team of the week, I mean, he must have put in impressive performances because Area 57, they have a couple of good players, not just him. So for him to stand out from the rest, that means he put in a lot of work.
Shayo, any surprise for you?
Well, definitely not. I would only mention the two guys from Menace, and I think someone that commented like he saw the back end and knew the team of the week before. Those two guys were mentioned earlier on. And if they, with the kind of week they had, it's no surprise they dominate. They have 40% of the team of the week, which is a good one for them. Like Josh said, Kairouj probably has a seat already. When you say team of the week section, there's a seat named after
Named for him,
Kairouj.
exactly.
And that's exactly what we've seen all through the championship division. And he's one of the guys, like I said, that's one of the reasons why I want to see K9 get to play in the Premier Division and see him rub shoulders with the big boys.
Jinx Mark says Kai Rouge is a regular customer, just to support what Shayo has said. Now we'll move on to the player of the week, where Josh can take us through the stats. And the player of the week is War Star. Josh
No, I
is
believe that's pronounced as Waystar. I believe that's pronounced as Waystar.
okay. Wow. Okay.
And I said it earlier while Charles casting their match against Wakandans. That's CMT versus Wakandans. I noticed that Waystar was brought in only during respawns. And if you look at his stats, you see that there's nothing available for search and destroy. They know that Waster is a killing machine, and guys like that, they are best to bring in for respawn matches. I mean, look at that. Hard points, he had 124 kills and 85 deaths, not bad. Then in domination, he went 24-19. That's not bad. And for someone like Waster, I mean, I don't think he has ever made the team of the week. So for him to come into the lineup this week rather, for respawns, and then to automatically get the week 5 player of the week, that should tell you how solid his performance was. And also the fact that he beat Kai Rouge to player of the week. That should tell you how solid he was. So let's not necessarily, the stats are important, you understand? But let's not just focus on his skills and all that. Let's focus on his overall importance and usefulness to CMT in response. He was very vital for them.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I can see Dre the Wolf saying Waster laying waste to teams. That is, I believe, Shayo in football, they call it super sub.
Yeah, I was going to say that that's a super sub performance. When you look at the ratio of time he had, it's that coming in to make such an in that particular encounter goes to show that this is someone we should have been looking out for from the start of the season, and it's good because they're about to rub shoulders with the big boys. That's what's exciting me about these teams. I want to.
I guess we lost you there, Shayo, for some reason. You got broke, but that's okay. So that will be all. That will be all for the
Can you hear me
championship.
now?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
we
you.
can.
We can hear you, and we'll
Okay.
have to move on to that to the Premiership division. But just a quick break where we we shout out to our sponsors and supporters once again. This is the AMCL recap for week 5, and it's brought to you by Tip NG. So it allows you to earn cash tips while you play. You can create content, stream, and share your link so that well wishers, family, and friends can go ahead to bless your ministry. And also, we're being supported by Domino's Pizza Nigeria and Cold Stone Creamery, where you can eat interesting ice cream and pizza. Exactly. So now, yeah, we'll move on to the Premier Division. Shaya, any surprise for you?
Nope. No, really. I think everything went according to the script. Cryptic starting the week with the usual 6 points in mind. Defeated Syndicate Mex, who haven't particularly had the best of season, but kudos to them for keeping faith and giving a good fight in most of the games. I've seen some of their games. Every other thing, just as it was meant to be. And Incognito getting to rest ahead of a huge encounter on match day 14. That's an interesting one.
Interesting. No surprise, Bloody Veterans, they didn't pick up a map.
Yeah,
Oh,
it wasn't
wow.
going to happen. No, it wasn't going to happen. Not against Zero Remorse.
Oh, okay. I was expecting them to pick up a map at least. But
Exactly.
So let's move to match day 14. Josh, in this case, surprise, surprise, surprise.
Let me see. Okay, I'll say the surprise there was I'd say maybe okay. Actually, no, there wasn't any surprise there. There wasn't any surprise. I mean, I wanted to say Cryptic Gaming versus Bloody Veterans, but then I looked at it. Cryptic have been the dark horses in the league. They've been very, very impressive. So no, that wasn't a surprise. But one matchup that I know could have gone either way was Zero Remorse versus Incognito. But Zero Remorse proved to be the better team on the day. They came out on top in respawns. I believe they won that 200, 185. Yeah. So I would say everything that they went according to script. Except maybe Bloody Veterans winning a map of Cryptic. I mean, Bloody Veterans, they've been having some issues lately, so I figured it to be a nice and easy 2-0 win for Cryptic, but that wasn't the case.
Interesting. Shayo, quickly, any surprises for you?
You definitely know it's incognito. It seems I said it the first time it happened. The rest they have usually is a disservice to them, and
To them.
that's exactly what happened again. Zero Remorse doing a double over them wasn't something we saw coming. But if we look at it on the basis of home and away, Zero defeated them on their own turf. They're back home now. You expect them to capitalize on that, and I think I mentioned that last week when we actually previewed the particular encounter. But it was good to see them, unlike the first time, pick a map this time around. So that, of
Yeah.
course, did a lot of good for them, even though they lost that encounter. So Zero, big ups to them doing a double against a giant, their biggest rival, Incognito, and I think that's a salvo being sent to the rest of the league as they go into the final week of the season.
Of the season, the end game. And now let's go to Face of Friday. Shayo, surprise, we see two teams forfeiting.
Yeah, the forfeits came as a surprise, but then we understand how these things can be. Syndicate Mex getting that clean win should be a surprise also, though they were up against a fellow, struggler, if we can call them that. But then kudos to them. Like I mentioned earlier when I talked about them on match day 13, I think they give a fight. It just doesn't turn out as they want, but they give a fight, and it was good to see them knock up a win in this one. Incognito definitely, after losing to Zero Remorse, anyone who comes up against them knows that it's his problem. Unfortunately, with the structure of the league, it is Snow Wolves. This was the mirror. This was the mirror
Okay.
of what happened before, and it's happened again.
Yeah. Sorry to cut Shire short, but I believe what happened with Bloody Veterans as well as Cryptic was that day. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was a WhatsApp was down for like 30
Yes.
minutes to an hour. You understand?
Yeah.
So majority of the teams have Discord as a means of communication in case WhatsApp is down. But it seems in the case of Cryptic and Bloody Veterans, they didn't have a backup option to contact their players. You understand? So they couldn't get the information that's lobby link and all that across to their players in time, and as a result, they had to forfeit those matches
Forfeit
because
those
I was
matches. Yeah.
definitely looking forward to Zero Remorse versus Cryptic Gaming as well as Bloody Veterans versus Draco Salem. Those matches would have been blockbusters to be honest, but unfortunately we didn't get to watch that.
Well, I think you are the only one that cares. For Cryptic, they are knocked up six points for the
Six,
week already. They could
exactly.
they could go
Yeah,
to
you're
bed.
right. Cryptic have done their
they
weekly
could
reach
go
of
to
six
they
points
could
and
go to
then
bed.
they are done for the week.
They are done for the week. So yeah.
You know, that is really, to them. I guess that has mapped out the way they want it. And now
Yeah.
let's move on to what the table looks like this time. The end game. If end game was a table, this is what it would look like.
Wow.
From first to fourth is still anyone's game.
Yep.
4 points between first Zero Remorse and Regime and Draco. One, and they have Incognito breathing down their back. Shayo, how do you see this?
Um. First half of the season, Draco did Incognito a favor because we can assume that Incognito would not lose again. The only match they lost in the first half was the game against Zero Remorse. If that's the case this time around, then Zero Remorse know that they can't afford to mess up in that game against Draco Solem because that would definitely tilt things in favor of Incognito and may now decide who gets to win the league. We must not take our eyes off the difference in maps won. They're tied with Incognito, so that's a factor for the future. And we must also not take our eyes off Regime Unruly, and Draco Solem, same maps difference also 12-3. So those are things that we know would shape who gets to win what when the league is set. And as we can see, the only movement was at the top and also between Snow Wolves and Bloody Veterans. That was the only movement. Every other person maintained their standing, which means we must give kudos to Regime Unruly. They've been able to give a fight for that third position. And if they
Mm-hmm.
maintain that stand, I think I talked about it last week. We talked about their consistency. If they maintain that
Yeah.
stand, it means they would actually run away with the third position, which is a podium finish.
Wonderful, wonderful. Shayo, I'm sorry, not Shayo now. Josh, this time, Cyclone and Snow Wolves, are they safe?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Cyclone and Snow Wolves, are they safe? Do you think they are safe since we're entering? There are just 3 games left to the end of the season.
I mean, it's still too early to say if they are safe. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Cyclone still have a match against Bloody Veterans as well as Snow Wolves. You understand? So no offense, but that is a relegation battle matchup. So if for some reason Cyclone were to lose all 3 matches and by some miracle Bloody Veterans were to win 2 and then lose 1, 2-1, you understand? It will become a very dire situation. At the moment, I don't think the relegation battle has been finalized yet. Anything is still possible. It all depends on the matchups. There are 3 matches, 3 final matches. Let's just call them 3 finals, basically. Both for teams at the top and then teams at the bottom. And at some point in time, I feel like teams are going to have to rely on results from other matches to help their case.
Yeah, I
that's
think
when
so.
that's when you bring mathematics into it. If we win
Exactly.
and okay, so Morpheus Goat said Draco will win all games 2-0. I guess he is, a huge fan of them. And someone is saying Cryptic is safe. Yes, Cryptic is definitely safe
Oh, no,
from this.
they pulled away long ago.
Shayo, what do you think? Do you think Cyclone? Who do you think is going to be safe out of Cyclone, Snows, and Bloody Veterans? Since it's anyone's game at this point.
Is it really anyone's game, especially with 5 points difference? That's the question. Second question would be, we understand BV's back end issues that may just have an adverse effect. And like Josh said, it may not be down to them. It may be down to the fixtures. I can't recollect what everyone's fixtures is. So it's about the fixtures. If they're playing any of the big boys in the top 4, then it's problem for them. So it's really looking like this is how the table would look to me. Because, like I said, everybody maintained their standing. It was only just Snow Wolves' performance this week that saw them sidestep Bloody Veterans into the relegation zone. And then at the top, zero remorse with that win against Incognito, shoving them off the top by just 1 point. So I think the table will stand like this. The only thing that may change is the top 3, which we have fingers crossed to see how it pans out.
At this point, I think it's the top 4 now.
Yeah,
And
actually, it means
sorry
the
to cut you
4,
guys
but
short.
I mean the third position, which is Regime really may be knocked off. That's what I mean. Of course, the top 4.
And interestingly enough, Incognito's matchups this coming week, are against Cryptic, Regime Unruly, and Draco Celeb. So, so that should tell you what is
Nice,
at stake.
nice,
This week is going to
nice,
be very,
nice.
very interesting. Like if I called it, it is definitely the end game. If end
And
game
yeah,
was a table, this is it.
interesting.
Okay, so let's see. Melv said Bloody Veterans and Wakanda next season. I believe he's taunting Bloody Veterans in this case going into the championship division. And now let's move to the team of the week. Shayo, any surprise for you?
Um, maybe. Well, first of all, let's establish the fact that anyone making it to the team of the week, there are about 50 or more. In fact, what am I saying? About 100 players. So you making it to the team of the week is not a surprise. It means you gave a good performance. But I would say maybe a Michael from Cryptic. But then it's all down to the fact that you gave a performance to deserve a place amongst five out of the many. So more than anything, everyone deserves to be there. No surprise really, but maybe Michael. I think there were some other players I felt should have made it in there. But hey, GG's to everybody.
Well, I believe Xerox Beast is back into the fold. I think what,
The
yeah,
Kairouge, Xerox is the Kairouge of, I mean, Kairouge is the Xerox, whatever way you want to swing it,
whatever way you want to
of,
put it,
of,
because
of the Premier Division.
it looks like he does 2 weeks on, 1 week off, then he
One week
comes
of
back.
just to chill. Let's give others a chance.
Yeah, he says, so I'm not selfish in this case.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so there's an interesting comment here. Soft said Michael shouldn't be there. It should be Analo as far as I'm concerned.
No,
Close.
I believe Soft is talking about in-game performance. You understand? Because Anlalo, if you watch ICG's matches over the course of the week, you understand. Anlalo played OBJ to the max, like Soft said. You understand? But
Yeah,
unfortunately, Xerox based on the final match day of week 15 got the two MVPs, and then in the match against Zero Remorse, I believe Melv got the MVP in the S&D. So Alalo did his best. Yes, he played really, really well. Shout out to him, but unfortunately, he just fell short of getting the winning MVP on his team. So there was no way he could have made it into Team of the Week, because what we calculate is the number of winning MVPs you have. That's what we used to pick the Team of the Week.
the
So
team of the week.
Alalo's
Down to the
performance was really good. He played OBJ well, but unfortunately, Xerox Beast beat him to it.
Interesting. Okay, so let's move to the player of the week, which is Michael from Cryptic. Not so. Well, no,
Is that not an irony? That the same guy we felt shouldn't be in the team of the
exactly.
week is actually the MVP for the week. So, like I said, if you're there, you deserve to be there. We may be surprised, but you definitely give the performance that means you deserve a slot amongst the five.
Okay, so briefly, Josh, take us through the statistics.
Let's look at Michael's stats. I'm not too certain. Okay, yeah, I believe Cryptic for guys, I mean that should tell you a lot. Cryptic forfeited a match this week. So that is
True.
two maps that Michael didn't get to play in. Yet look at his stats. He's still week five's player of the week. That should tell you just how good his performance was. Like most teams, their players played um 3 matches this week, all maps and all that. Michael played just 2 matches. And look at his stats. In domination, 31-8, a 3.8 KD, search and destroy 23-12, almost a 2 KD, and for hard points, 82-46.
Mm.
So yeah, really, really impressive performance from him, considering that he played lesser games than most of the other people in
The other
the
guy.
team of the week. So shout out to him.
Good. So I'm seeing more comments about Michael, and let's briefly take them as we round up. It says Michael's worth that spot. Analo's good, but this is probably about who's got the spotlight in the game. And Soft also came back to say it is calm. He's still my personal most valuable
Yeah, I'm
player.
sorry. There's a comment in the chat that I want to respond to. Someone is asking if two players from the same team can make it to the team of the week. And yes, indeed, two
Yeah.
players can. And in the Premier Division, I believe we've seen Rete and Simzi in the same week, as well as Uncle Bonus and Xerox Best or I think either Uncle Bonus and Xerox Best or Melv and Xerox and
Melvin
Uncle
Zero.
Bonus.
Yeah,
But we've
Mel.
seen it before. We've seen two
Yes.
players from the same team make it into the team of the week. But that means both of them have to put in outstanding performances over
I
the
think
course of the week.
we even saw that earlier on with Menace. Two players from Menace were in the championship division's team of the week.
Yeah, Pelu and Banana from the same
Exactly.
team made team of the week
Of the
today.
week.
So yes, two teams. Just to answer that question, and with that said, this is all we have for both divisions, both Championship and the Premier Division. Once again, this is the AMCL recap week 5, and it's brought to you by Lagos Esports Forum and is sponsored by Tip NG, your gifting platform that allows families, friends, and well wishers to be able to, bless your ministry. Like I always say, Shayo is always laughing when I use that example, but you know, we all understand what that means. And
Offering time.
exactly. And once again, it is brought to you by supported, not brought to you this time, supported by Domino's Pizza and Cold Stone Creamery. And viewers, before we go, there's always that catch of the week where Shayo gives us how we can win vouchers and tip gifts from the AMCL and Lagos Esports Forum. Before we jump into that, Shayo, what are you expecting for Endgame Week? We should call it Endgame Week moving forward, starting tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'll use the words of a very, very prominent analyst, and it says tears and blood. And that's Josh. I expect it to be fierce. I see zero remorse, giving their all so as not to bottle this because they stand in a very, very good position. But that's not without coming up against tough opposition. Interestingly, Incognito, who are also their closest rival, have a tough fixture too, coming up against the third to fourth, sixth of a fifth position team. So that's a really tough one for them also. But it should be an interesting week. I usually like photo finishes, so that's what I want us to see. And yeah, it's been an amazing time with the league. I think I've said that over and over again, and it promises to be an even greater ending. It's had a great start, and it promises to be an even greater ending.
Okay, so Josh, are you still with us? What should we expect Endgame Week? Before you go, briefly, I know you have to run along.
Okay, next week for the Premier Division, what I'll say is expect a lot of drama, a lot of fireworks, and a lot of outstanding plays. Because, like I told you earlier, I mean, looking at Draco Salem have Incognito and Zero Remorse in the same week. Those are must-win fixtures because if Draco Salem wants to make it into the top 3, I don't think they can get to first, but they need to win those matches against Incognito. And for Incognito, if they want to keep mounting a challenge for first position or avoid slipping out of the top 3, they need to win their matches against Cryptic, Regime Unruly, as well as Draco. So yeah, it's a tough week. Zero Remorse, it looks to be smooth sailing for them, apart from their match against Draco Salem. Other than that, it's relatively easy for them. So yeah, the Premier Division, there is going to be a lot of fireworks, like I said earlier. The relegation battle is going to heat up as well. So there's going to be action from the top end and the bottom end. A lot to play for every side involved. It's just the middlemen like Cryptic and just Cryptic that don't need to stress much. They are fine where they are.
Okay, exactly. More comments. Soft said, big ups to the MVPs. It is not easy. So we've come to the end of this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I know Josh needs to run along. So Shayo, you could briefly just run us through how we can get those vouchers to enjoy some Domino's Pizza and Cold Stone Creamery. Shayo, are you with us?
Yes, indeed, I am.
Okay, so I'm sure everyone is waiting to they can actually take advantage of that.
This one is simple, and I'll leave maybe Ife to decide if he wants to open it to the gamers also, but I'm thinking it should be for the fans. And that is just for you to predict the top 3 in the right order, first, second, third, for the Premier Division to wrap up the season. Since Championship Division is next week, I think we can leave it till then. So we'll pick one winner to get Domino's Pizza and Cold Stone ice cream. Then we'll pick one winner to get tipped.
Okay, so guys, there you have it. It's straight from the CEO himself. Predict the end game week, who is going to be first, second, and third.
Yes.
Please remember to CC Lagos Esports Forum, Domino's NG, Cold Stone NG, and use the hashtag AMCL, hashtag AMCL, guys. If you just give us
a tip NG,
a tip on AMCL at this point now,
and also a tip NG, put their handle in the tweet.
So, guys, it's very, very simple. Predict who is going to be first, second, and third in the Premier Division. Mention the sponsors, which is Tip NG, Domino's Pizza Nigeria, Cold Stone Nigeria, and you must also mention Lagos Esports Forum.
Yes.
And hashtag AMCL, guys. It is as easy as ABC. And then you will win your vouchers for pizza and ice cream via Cold Stone Creamery at this point, and we will also tip your account via the Tip NG platform. Guys, we will see you next weekend to discuss how the end game weekend ended for the Premier Division and our predictions for the Championship Division. From me, once again, your host, the Afro Gamer, and also the CEO and founder of Lagos Esports Forum. We wish you a blessed week ahead.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.